Hi guys, today I'm showing you how to make these delicious strawberry white chocolate cheesecake slices. I'm using Oreos for the base, which will make them even more delicious. So to start, I'm going to show you how to make the base. I have a food processor here. If you don't have one, you can just use a Ziploc bag and a rolling pin and you can get fine biscuit crumbs just like that. So I'm going to take my lid off and I'm going to add those into my food processor. If you have a small one, you might just want to add half at a time. And I'm going to pop the lid back on and give it a good blitz. So I'm just going to have a look, see how that's getting on. So that looks good to me. I have nice fine crumbs. I'm going to add in the unsalted butter and I've just melted that in the microwave. So pour that over, pop the lid back on and give it another mix. If you're just using a Ziploc bag, just pour the crumbs into a bowl and stir in the unsalted butter. So my butter and crumbs are all mixed together now. They're ready to go into the tart case. I'm using a rectangle one and that will get us our nice thin slices. So I'm going to take the lid off. I'm going to spoon out the mixture. I absolutely love cheesecakes with an Oreo base. I feel it adds a little extra flavour. And I think it goes really well with the strawberry and white chocolate. And then push that round to the edges, making sure you cover everything. So I'm just using the back of my spoon to make it all nice and smooth. And then once that's smooth, I'm just going to place that into the fridge to set. I love making cheesecakes, especially no-bake cheesecakes, because they're so easy to make. So I have some full-fat cream cheese, and I'm just going to add that into a big bowl. I like to use full-fat because it gives it extra flavour. So add that in. And then to that, I'm going to add in some caster sugar, and I'm just going to beat that together with my electric mixer. Pour that in and give it a good beat together. We're just looking for that to be nice and smooth. So that's already come together. You don't need to mix it for too long. Into that, I'm now going to add 1 tablespoon of boiling water, and that's just to help the mixture stay nice and smooth. So I'm going to pour that over, make sure it is boiling water, and then on top of that, I'm going to add melted white chocolate. Now, for me, this is what makes this cheesecake even more amazing. So spoon that over, look how smooth and glossy that looks. This white chocolate will add such a nice flavour to the cheesecake and it'll also help thicken up the mixture as well. So on top of that, finally, I'm going to add some double cream. And just mix that together again with your beaters. I'm just going to grab my spatula and give the bowl a scrape just to make sure everything is incorporated nicely. So get everything down from the edges. Then I'm going to give it another beat on high to make it nice and thick. So the next step for the filling is to swirl in some strawberry sauce. So I'm just going to pop that on the side while I make it. This strawberry sauce is super easy to make and I feel it adds a real nice flavour to the cheesecake. So I have some strawberries. I'm just going to add those into my little cup. And then to that, to give it a bit more sweetness, I'm going to add a tablespoon of icing sugar. Perfect. So I'm going to add the lid and give that a good blitz together. And look at that colour, isn't that pretty? That's going to get swirled into the cheesecake and add a nice pop of colour. But first, I want to sieve that just to get rid of any of those strawberry seeds. Just take that lid off. Be careful it doesn't splash on your top because it is a bright colour. Although it would add to my watermelons, don't you think? So pour that in. So just push that through and that'll get rid of any lumps. And now that is ready to get swirled in. So to swirl that in, I'm just going to grab a spoon and add small little dollops of the mixture into the cheesecake. So pour that over. Don't do too much to begin with, just want to start with a small bit. And then using a bamboo stick, or you could just use a knife, I'm going to swirl that in. And look at that, look at the colour. I think it adds a really nice pop of colour to the cheesecake. I'm just going to keep doing that until I've got my desired colour. I'm just gonna grab a spatula and fold that through, just to get the bottom bits as well. The colour really comes together now. You don't want to do too much mixing, otherwise it will just be pink. Mine is perfect, look at those swirls. So once that's all swirled in, it's now ready to assemble the cheesecake. So I'm going to go grab my tin from the fridge. So I have my base out of the fridge and it's a lot firmer. So I'm now going to add some strawberry halves on top. And this will be really nice and pretty when you cut into the cheesecakes. So you just want to grab the halves and line them along your cheesecake. On top of that, I'm now going to spoon over the cheesecake mixture. So just carefully spoon that on because it is quite a thick mixture. And then I'm going to use the back of my spoon just to smooth that over. And if you want to add some more strawberry sauce to ripple through, you can do that now. I've just added some of the extra strawberry sauce into a piping bag and snipped off a very small hole. And I'm now going to add small little dots around the edge as a border. So once you've dropped all your little drops of sauce, you want to take a toothpick or a skewer and run a line along the middle, and then you should create a little heart. Now that is ready to go in the fridge to set, and before serving, I'm going to add some strawberries on top. So that is how you make strawberry and white chocolate cheesecake slices with a delicious Oreo base. Easy.